Hello everyone, I am Nick from Boodskap. In this tutorial, we are going to see how to connect and access the third-party databases in the platform. Let's go to the platform guide. Click on the database connection. Now Boodskap supports more than 40 different types of databases. The very popular databases like Oracle, PostgreSQL, MySQL, etc. Make sure the libs folder of the platform has the JDBC, ODBC drivers and is compatible with the platform. Refer to your database documentation for the drivers. The platform has to be rebooted when installing these drivers for the first time. Now, in this example, we have a PostgreSQL connection. Let's go to the platform and click on the DB tables. Initially, only the administrative domain will have the database access. In order to give access to other domain, you need to log in as an admin of the platform. And then go to Login as and search for the domain you want to give access to. In my case, it's tutorial domain. And check DB access and click here to grant access. I am logging in as a tutorial and now should have the DB tables access. Let's add a connection quickly. Now, when it comes to database connection pooling, the platform supports 4 different types of connection pool libraries: Hikari, C3PO, DBCP, and Tomcat. Each one of these connection pools may have a different set of parameters to configure. In this tutorial, let's pick Hikari, a very simple and effective connection pool. All you need is the JDBC, URL, username, password, either the driver class name or the driver source class name. Also, you need to give a name. In my case, I'm going to give it as DEV-DB. JDBC, URL, I'm copying this. Username is Postgres. And the password is secret in my case. And the driver class name. This should be enough for the basic connection pooling. To configure the Hikari pool with advanced parameters, read their documentation and you can pre-fill all these optional items. Click Proceed. If the connection succeeds, the platform stores this connection and you can access the table. Let's now go and create a table. There are multiple ways you can access the database. First, I am going to show you a console called DB Query Console. One other interesting part is you can have multiple connections as well. If you want to have the sensor data to be duplicated in your development, prod, QA, or different customers' databases, you can have multiple connections. And at the runtime, you can pick a connection and operate. Now I'm going to create the table and it went through. Now, I'm going to insert some data. And that went through. I am going to query this data. There should be only one record exactly. This should be the output. Using this console utility, we can practice the SQL queries. Now, let's take an example and integrate it with the rules engine. Let's take a real-life example. Now let's create a rule called 1001. Which will have these 3 parameters: nitrate, nitrite, and dissolved oxygen. Let's copy this code. The data we are expecting will be coming from the sensors. Go to Rules Engine, Message Rule. I just created this message rule. Go to message definitions, and we can see the message with water parameters NH3, NH4, and O2 has been pre-created. Let's now simulate the data using the platform's inbuilt simulator. What this code does is, as soon as the message comes in, it takes the ID from the message. The message by default will have all these metadata available in the incoming message. And the device ID is one of the parameters. This is the actual device, which is a unique ID of the device which sends the data. NH3, NH4, and O2 are sensor data. And we are storing it as it is. We are creating a map. And we will insert it into the DAVDB. Now here is the tricky part. In the database connections, there is a context API called dbContext. So there are a bunch of methods exposed. One of the method is that you can execute a SQL statement with the template. And you can dynamically construct SQL and operate on that particular database. In our example, we are going to create a template like this. And we are going to call that as insert_WP. The way to create is, go to DB templates and click on Add Template. I'm naming it as insert_WP, and I am going to paste the code from the documentation. What this code does is, it's just a text templating. Insert into the water params table with these fields, and dynamically, we are going to pass the values ID, device, NH3, NH4 and O2. In the runtime, it renders into a proper SQL. And it operates on the DB connection. I'm going to save this. Now let's go to the message rule and simulate the message. Let's say NH3 as 45, NH4 as 78, and O2 as 5 ppm. And I'm sending it. Now, let's go to the DB query console and run the select query. This time, you should see two records. We can see, this one is dynamically created with UUID. And the message came from a simulator, and these are the values we passed in. Going back to the documentation, dbContext is where you should focus on. This gives 4 simple methods. You can execute any kind of fancy SQL supported by that particular database. The template comes in very handy when you have lots and lots of SQL queries. You can create all those as templates and dynamically invoke them during runtime. That's it for now in this tutorial. Please visit our website and learn more about the platform capabilities. Thanks for watching.